Good evening, or actually almost afternoon. My name is Vonnie Hicks. On behalf of Fiddle Bow, it's my pleasure to welcome you to our concert this evening. This is a sort of an unusual thing because it's kind of a big deal, and we haven't tried to do big deals down at the 4th Fret before. And so we're doing that tonight, and as you know, we're having two shows. And this show is starting a little after 7, and the next show starts at 9:30. And because of that sort of tight scheduling, we will not be having a break in the middle of the show tonight. So I'll let you know right up front that there will be CDs available in the back at the end of the show. There will also be various and sundry other kinds of paraphernalia that you may purchase. There are restrooms through the door into the Horse's Mouth if you need, or you can go through the 4th Street PX and come back to restrooms that are over here. Or if it closes on you, you can walk right down in front of everybody and just go that way. Either way, there should be a way to cope with it. I'm going to take just a second to let you know what's upcoming with Fiddle and Bow for the month of May, because it's a tremendous month. Kicked off tonight, of course, in fine style with Bill Morrissey and the band. We're going to have open mics starting tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Sunday. This is Friday, right? Okay, Sunday, May 5th. At Maggie O'Reilly's, which is on Bethabara Station Road, and we'll be happy to give you some directions to get there if you're interested in that. I believe they're going to be free for a while, and it should be a lot of fun. Chuck Brodsky is going to come grace us once again, Saturday, May 11th. Chuck Brodsky is terrific. If there is an artist around today who is kind of fitting the shoes of the old Bob Dylan, it's probably Chuck Brodsky. He's been here before, and he's been tremendous. In fact, everyone this month has been here before, and they're back because we really like them. Coming up Friday, May 17th, we're bringing back Tory Voodoo. These folks do Irish tunes with contemporary instruments and some terrific vocals as well, and they look good when they're doing it. So check us out on Friday, May 17th, back here at the 4th Fret. And then winding up the month of May, almost, is the Carrie Newcomer Band. Carrie Newcomer's been here several times, but never with a band. I guess you guys are starting a trend here, you know, starting this band thing. And she has been one of the finest singer-songwriters in the country for some time. And this is the first time we've had a chance to see her full force, complete with the backup band. So that's going to be terrific. That's Friday, May 24th. And we may have a surprise thing happening Friday, May 31st as well. But we'll tell you about that another time. That'll be upcoming. Okay, you've probably been listening to the radio today and you've heard about this guy. You might have been reading in the newspaper today and you've read about this guy. He's all over that stuff, and he also has the distinction of having the biggest tour bus that we have ever had visit the 4th Fret. So all of these things have got to say terrific things about him. I'm going to stop talking and just say that Fiddle and Bow from the 4th Fret is proud to welcome Knopf novelist and Rounder recording artist Bill Morrissey.
I parked my cab on Water Street. I'm waiting for a fare, watching young girls in their first heels step like colts across the square. Fire on the ocean, thunder on the sea. I think of Handsome Molly, wherever she may be. Now I'm either in this cab or bar, and never in the choir, sometimes howling and amazed like the wind hung up on barbed wire. Fire on the ocean, thunder on the sea. Think of Handsome Molly, what she promised me. Well, That's pretty doe-eyed Molly could see so well at night. It was a hard trade she made just to see in black and white. Well, the word's got down this north coast, and this boy, you best take care. Cut yourself with a knife, find all the salt that's in the air. Fire on the ocean, thunder on the sea. I think of handsome Molly, who cried so easily. Now the soldiers down on Water Street, they eye the little girls, and the little girls of Water Street will take them round the world. Fire on the ocean, thunder on the sea. I think of handsome Molly, wherever she may be. Thanks a lot. As usual, we'd like to start out with something kind of perky. Get everybody in a party mood. This is it's great to be back here, by the way. It's been, I guess, about 2.5 years. And, how have you guys been? Okay. Me too. This is off the new record. Comes to see you when summer's ended. The scent of apples fills the air. She wants to know if your heart has mended, and if it has, then can you take her there? Her dress is a willow in a spring breeze. Her eyes are too young to chase yours, and you know you'll never see what she sees. And anything she sees will soon be hers, 'cause she knows love goes only to return in a new heart. This time, I'm sure she knows that heart is inside her. Tells you how this dream has found her, and all past loves fade as she speaks. But she talks and time surrounds her, and it might be hours, it might be days, it might be weeks, 'cause she knows love goes only to return in a new heart. This time, I'm sure she knows that heart is inside her. She still has summer deep in her heart, while you're left with autumn in your soul. And what love brings together, it can't pull apart, and what love believes in can never grow old. 'Cause she knows love goes only to return in a new heart. This time, I'm sure she knows that heart is inside her. She comes to see you when summer's ended. The scent of apples fills the air. She wants to know if your heart has mended. And if it has, then can you take her there? Thank you. Yeah, it is great to be back here. We had a little trouble parking the bus earlier today. There was some volunteer fellas doing the parking out there, and they wouldn't let us in. And I got out and said, "Do you know who I am?" And they said no, and I lost my tongue. I called them an SOB and stuff. And it's one of those things. How do you pronounce that name? Is it Harp or Harpy? Of the alderman? So, just checking up on your past, guys. Of course, I didn't do that, but I loved reading about it. I'd like to get back into the depressing stuff, because after all, this is folk music, and folk music is to be endured, not enjoyed. We all know that. This song I wrote includes a dog I once owned. Little dog named Bud. Some of you, I've told you about Bud before, how his real name was Rico, but all his friends called him Bud, so we called him Bud. And he was a tiny dog. And I never liked tiny dogs before. But he was part of a package deal. I didn't have much choice. But he was really tiny. He was like part Chihuahua and part gerbil. But he was a good athlete. He was a baseball dog. He was a great defensive player. I mean, he could make these Willie Mays breadbasket catches, Freddie Lynn 1965 diving catches. I mean, he used to catch these Spalding hardballs the size of his head. It was impressive. I mean, he couldn't hit to save his life, but and after a while I had to put up a little warning track in the kitchen around the cupboard so he'd know how far back to go. So I took him down to Boston one time. I was living in New Hampshire at the time, and we had a gig. Well, yeah, I mean, I had the gig, but he was along with me. And we hit rush hour, and it was just like still life with traffic. There was nothing happening, and Bud started pacing on the seat of the truck, and I could see he was upset, so we talked. And it turns out he thought I wasn't being as aggressive as I could have behind the wheel. And he wanted to drive. And now, Bud did fine in New Hampshire, but that's a whole different ballgame. It's all rural, streets and stuff, and he'd never driven in the city, and it's a standard, and I didn't have the blocks for the pedals for him or anything. And so I didn't want to drive either. So we worked out this deal where I sat him on my lap and I worked the pedals and he took over. And I couldn't believe it. It was like he was born to drive in Boston. He instinctively knew that using a directional was considered a sign of weakness. He was heavy on the horn. He was cutting Boston cab drivers off. He just didn't care. He was flipping people a paw. So he got us there early, and we got a parking place right in front of the club. I figure, when your pet does a trick, you're supposed to reward your pet. So I went out and I got a bag of M&Ms. Now I know they're not good for dogs or anything, but we were just living in the fast lane in those days. And this is the first bag that had red ones once they brought them back. And I said, Bud, red ones. And he was going, yeah. And I said, Bud, you did such a great job driving. I'm going to give you all the red ones. And his tail was going. And so I divided the M&Ms up by color in little piles on the dressing room table. And then, fed him all the green ones, because dogs are colorblind. They don't know that. So Bud makes a fictional appearance in this song. After this, we'll probably have our polka contest. Gina left town with the first snow of the year. He drove her to the airport in his Ford. And he tried to propose as he ordered one more beer. But the PA drowned his words, and it was time for her to board. So he walked her to the gate. He took his hat off as he kissed her. He needed one more drink to take the chill out of his soul. He said a quick goodbye, then spent 2 hours in the bar. Finally paid his tab and kept $1 for the toll. Everything slips through these cold fingers, like trying to hold water, trying to hold sand. Close your eyes and make a wish, and listen to the singer. One more round, bartender, pour a double if you can. It's 4 o'clock and the sun's gone down the drain. It's still late winter, but they say it's early spring. And Lewis reads the gas pumps, Rossi counts the oils, but me, I'm done, so punch the clock. I'll see you in the morning. There's nothing back at home that ain't gone greasy from the stove. I never laughed so hard as when that typewriter broke. Think I'll stop along the river road for a half pint and some beer. Well, everything will be okay if those old dreams would disappear. Everything slips through these cold fingers, like trying to hold water, trying to hold sand. Close your eyes and make a wish, and listen to the singer. One more round, bartender, pour a double if you can. Well, the dog can't move no more. Surprised he made it till the spring. His pain won't go away, and the pills won't do a thing. Well, you've known that old hound longer than you've known any of your friends. And no matter how you let him down, he'd always take you back again. So it's one tall glass of whiskey, one last drink for old time's sake. The dog just lays in bed and watches every move you make. Or wrap him in his blanket, hold him once more close to you. Lead him out behind the barn with a borrowed 22. Everything slips through these cold fingers, like trying to hold water, trying to hold sand. Close your eyes and make a wish, and listen to the singer. One more round, bartender, or pour a double if you can. The sun speaks no English in the valley of the Lord. There's music in the distance, but you cannot place the chord. Were you all that surprised when they mistook you for me? We still laugh about it in the hills of Tuscany. They searched for you in New York, but I heard you slipped away. When you crossed the border this time, did you think they'd let you stay? The sun has made us crazy here, the wine has turned us mean. We drink all day in this cafe till the air takes on a sheen. All your love, all your lies, they can track me on and on. You can't knock down any door here, and I'll always have just gone. Your letters came this morning, the waiter brought out 3. Well, I thanked him in a whisper as he handed them to me. But I did not have to read a word to know just where you'll be. Somewhere in my footsteps outside of Tuscany. All your love, all your lies, they can track me on and on. You can't knock on any door here, and I'll always have just gone. These gentlemen I drank with remember you quite well, and the way you held your rosary in that monastery cell. You thought you had disguised yourself when you knelt down to pray, but as you made the sign of the cross, you gave yourself away. All your love, all your lies, they can track me on and on. You can't knock down any door here, and I'll always have just gone. Yes, I know that we will meet again when I tire of this chase, but it will be me to surprise you when I choose the time and place. And though I've heard you've changed your name and even changed your face, I'll know you by your hollow eyes and the cold of your embrace. So I guess I should mention we got CDs and T-shirts and small appliances and stuff. Things we've stolen from different motels, all for sale back there. Don't have any books. It's so weird having. I've got this first novel out. It's Barney's Son. And my mother was really happy about that. Not so much that I was having a novel published, but that I have the same publishing company as. Publishing house as the Pope. You know, my mother's Polish, and this is. But you know, I've been wondering. Like, I haven't had the nerve to ask anybody at Alfred Knopf who edited the Pope's book. It's not a job I'd wish on anybody. Yeah. It's like, look, Your Holiness, this infallibility thing, that doesn't extend to grammar. We're going to have to work on this. But he got $6 million in advance, which I guess means he had Newt Gingrich's agent. And the Pope didn't have to give his back. But we were in the motel a while back. An old Addams Family came on, and from the '60s, and I thought, oh yeah, because I'd always wondered what had happened to Pugsley when he grew up, and there's Newt. Same compassion, anyway. But I guess the Pope's book didn't sell as well as they'd hoped. It was a $6 million advance. They didn't make that money. And now that I'm with Knopf, they give me like advances, galleys and stuff. And I guess the Pope's got a self-help book coming out this summer. Kind of a quickie, just kind of like, I'm okay, you're excommunicated. And we're going to be touring with him right after this tour. We're going to it's the John Paul and Bill '96 tour. And we got little satin tour jackets all printed up and stuff, Of course, we're going on first, but, I don't mind. It's okay. I lost the toss of the coin, Thank you very much. We'd like to do another one from the new record. Tonight, the streets are filled with drifters, with eyes that fall on you like rain, looking for someone to tell them what went wrong. But not a soul in this town will explain. When I last saw your sleeping beauty, she was all decked out and dressed to lose. Well, she could only talk to me of the way we used to be. Yeah, I know her well, and she's just slow blues. You can take your gamble to the freight yard. You can draw more cards and call my bluff. You can watch the sun go down and take out half this town. But night here never falls early enough. When your sleeping beauty calls, you must remember her love is tattered, but it's true. And all the words you hear are only said to draw you near. And I've heard every word before you. But feel that wind blow across the prairie. It carries ashes, grain, and sand. Those winds blow in from states you've never been. Everything here comes in second hand. But nothing hurts and nothing's promised, and no one stays out of the rain. The drifters pass through here at this time every year, just like a long drawn out refrain. Thank you. Now, these guys are under contract that they can't do too many songs in a row. It's a Boston Union thing. I'll do the solo. This is a little love song I wrote for my wife when I thought things weren't going to work out before we got married. I usually think things aren't going to work out. You know, I was raised Catholic and a Red Sox fan. I mean, what chance did I have as a kid? You can look into her eyes and live forever. She's as restless as the sea. She's as calm as a summer dawn. Well, she's that kind of mystery. And you can write the song that wins her heart. A song will take you half the way. For you've known from the start you'll never write the song to make her stay. Well, love comes in the sound of a dream, in the whisper of a prayer, and the promise in a sigh. And love comes from the corner of a smile, but it isn't meant for you. She'll only stay a while. She will fall asleep within your arms. Now you will know the fear all love endures. For in the night she'll pledge her heart, but she cannot give what is not hers. Well, love comes in the sound of a dream, in the whisper of a prayer, and the promise in a sigh. Love calls from the corner of a smile, but it isn't meant for you. She'll only stay a while. You can look into her eyes and live forever. She's as restless as the sea. She's as calm as a summer dawn. Well, she's that kind of mystery. Thanks. This next one is about the great king of the Delta blues, Robert Johnson. I was so pleased to see 3-4 years ago when they, 4 or 5 years ago now, I guess, re-released the complete recordings of Robert Johnson, and he went on to go gold and win a Grammy after having died in about 39, not selling a lot of records. But this is Winston-Salem. This is a hip community. I don't have to tell you the story of Robert Johnson, how he was kind of a mediocre bluesman who went out to the crossroads one night and sold his soul. Came back as the best ever, recorded 29 songs, and shortly thereafter was poisoned with bad whiskey. We expect this to happen on this tour. It's just kind of a thing. It's a musician's thing. 36 in the town of San Antone. A young man in a hotel room stares down a microphone. But he sings each song once, then sings it once again. And each song comes from a hole inside where a soul once had been. The records made the jukes all throughout the Southland. The pretty women wondered, was he charmed or was he damned? Look over his shoulder, was there something there he feared? Turn your back for just 1 second, the man disappeared. A word came through St. Louis out to Chicago, and all the way to New York City, where the blues just come and go. Someone took his picture once, and an angel stopped and cried. In his eyes it was there to see, he'd crossed the other side. Well, in a bar on a warm spring night was a man come through the door. He had a bottle with a broken label. Robert seen his face before. He said, this is my very best. Drink it down, drink it slow. 'Cause when I call your name again, you just pack up and go. Was it some kind of trick, or did he jump the price? Or did he find a way in hell to sell his own soul twice? 'Cause there's a cry in the wind tonight, and only one man makes that sound. Baby, grab your hat and coat, Robert Johnson's back in town. On guitar tonight from Memphis, Tennessee, former house guitarist at Stax in Memphis. He's recorded with everybody in the world, including me. The great Mr. Michael Tolles, ladies and gentlemen. On drums from Boston by way of New York. A little town called Latham, I believe. Mr. Danny Mac. And on bass from Champaign, Illinois, home of the Vegematic, Mr. David Walters, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we travel a lot, and this has been sort of a spiritual thing for us. And last night I had this repeating dream. I have two repeating dreams. One is I go to prison, and the other is I go to heaven. This is the heaven dream. This song tells you everything you need to know about the afterlife from a musician's standpoint. It's called Letter from Heaven. Mama Cass has dropped some weight and Charlie Parker's clean. And Django's fingers have both gone straight, and they got driving lessons for James Dean, and Jimmy's playing faster. And sometimes we jam all day. And old Dave Lincoln is a happy boy, 'cause they finally got to see the end of the play. It's a great life here in heaven. It's better than the Bible said. It's a great life here in heaven. It's a great life when you're dead. Well, there ain't no egos anywhere, and no one talks showbiz. And Gabriel, he's got a great big smile, taking lessons from Miles and Diz. And Bing Crosby's on the green in one, and he's singing when he putts. And Elvis really likes to visit Earth just to drive you people nuts. It's a great life here in heaven. It's better than the Bible said. It's a great life here in heaven. It's a great life when you're dead. For me, I couldn't be happier. Yeah, the service here is fine. They've got dinner ready at 9:30, and I'm going steady with Patsy Cline. And just last night, in a bar room, I bought Robert Johnson a beer. Yeah, I know everybody's always surprised to find him here. It's a great life here in heaven. It's better than the Bible said. It's a great life here in heaven. It's a great life when you're dead. Yodel, Bill, it's legal. You can know. Oh, yeah. Anybody want to hear anything in particular? Gablers. More Robert Johnson. Perches. I don't really do requests. But I'm curious. We were at the hotel around the corner a while back, and they had was it yesterday, wasn't it? They had like a sorority meeting. There were like 150 sorority sisters there talking, you know, on the floor about how, you know, and to Mitzi, I just want to tell you how much I loved you as a roommate, and, you know, and I kept thinking, you know, I love you, man. So I tried to get the band organized to stand on the balcony right behind him, just when somebody's going, and Mitzi, I just love you, and like the whole band to go, yeah, but you're not getting our Bud Light. But we didn't do that. But the thought crossed my mind, and if there'd have been cameras. So it's, I guess I couldn't get a date for the prom tonight, or what? It's prom? I was prom night everywhere, yeah. I was proms everywhere. I see all these limos going by. The guy's 17 years old, and he's drunk on champagne and throwing up on his tuxedo. Sounds good. Hope they come in here. Anyway, this is a little song I used to play with my pal Johnny Cunningham, the Scottish fiddler. Johnny couldn't make this tour. But the greatest thing about Johnny is that he's Scottish, so he has a different outlook on the world than the rest of us. You know, he's never happy until he's completely miserable. I mean, 2 years ago, Johnny got a Christmas... Oh, he'd be happy here. He got a Christmas card from his folks. It said, a Scottish Christmas greeting. And it went like, you're born in pain. You live in fear. You die alone. Merry Christmas. Kind of shades your outlook a little. Anyway, this is one for Johnny, who's wherever he is now. In New Bedford, Mass. or something. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, this ain't Hollywood. It never really gets that good. Call it love if you think you should. No need to explain. Tonight it's just you and me. A furnished room, black and white TV. The late movie runs till 3. Then it's just you and me again. There's no work, just a lot of talk. I quit drinking, now I watch the clock. I count the minutes in the dark till the sun crowds up again. And you won't leave soon, because I know you're just like me with no place to go. But there's a love still here, no, nothing's died. It just got hurt and buried deep inside. Well, this ain't Hollywood, it ain't Venice or Malibu. It's not the life I promised you when we set out years ago. You're waiting tables from 1 to 9. I fill out forms and stand in line. No work, just a waste of time. And every day's the same. You're home later each night, I see. I fix dinner while you talk with me. Then we wait for the late movie to take us away again. And you won't leave soon, because I know you're just like me with no place to go. No place to go, it's just a matter of time. You'll find somewhere, just a matter of time. Well, this ain't Hollywood, it never really gets that good. Call it love if you think you should. There's no need to explain. This is a real old one. Song maybe older than some of the band members. Or at least half the band gets carded when we go out. And then the other two they don't allow in. Song about one time back in the mid-70s when I hitchhiked from Los Angeles to Boston. One of my brighter moves. I was warned about this one desert town, this town in the Mojave Desert, Barstow. Whatever you do, don't get a ride there, Bill, because it acts like flypaper for hitchhikers. And sure enough, the first car that stopped for me was going to Barstow, and I said, yeah, let's go. So I got dropped off at the entrance ramp. And I joined the other 23 hitchhikers, which was fun for the first 3 or 4 days. Then I got a little, because you bake all day in the desert sun and freeze all night, and then I went down to the freight yard and got a ride about 100 miles east to a town with the comforting Southern California name of Needles. It's called Barstow. Well, here comes Parks, and he's found another bottle. He tips it up like a trumpet. He takes a drink and passes it out. And every man round the fire takes a chorus on the bottle. It ain't much, it ain't good, but it'll get us through till dawn. Well, don't the freight yard sound like a drunk in a metal shop? I can't believe it gets this cold in Barstow. And I can't believe I pissed my 20s away. Well, if you take me back this time, baby, I promise you I'll stay. Then Parks hands me the bottle. He says I'm gone to Tucson, hole up all winter at the Sally if I can. I don't mind the praying, And I don't mind saying I could listen forever to that Sally brass band. And then Park starts laughing hard, but he doesn't make a sound. He grabs the bottle back from me and kills the last of the wine. And in the fire's glow I can see his eyes, and they shine like brake lights, and I'm grateful I cannot see mine. Well, don't the freight yard sound like a drunk in a metal shop? I can't believe it gets this cold in Barstow, and I can't believe I pissed my 20s away. But if you take me back this time, baby, I promise you I'll stay. What's that, Michael?
What's that? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Sandy's going back to church. She's out to talk among her friends. Her world got too hard, too cruel. She's gonna be a little girl again. Welcome home with open arms and troubles. Just refuse to leave. Let the stained glass keep her from harm. It's not time to think, but to believe. Now all her questions come with answers, and all her wishes can come true. There is such comfort in the music and knowing just what to do. I can tell by just one look she wants me to come along. But the priest and I read the same book, and one of us must have got it wrong. Yes, once I knew that church so well, and I followed it like a shooting star. Now I could take a drink or go to church, and no one hates me in the bar. Now all the questions come with answers, and all the wishes can come true. There is such comfort in the music and knowing just what to do. All her questions come with answers, and all her wishes can come true. There is such comfort in the music and knowing just what to do. Sandy kneels down by the candles. She says a prayer for a lost friend. Sandy's going back to church. She's gonna be a little girl again. Well, we're running out of time, so we just won't talk. This is another new one. This is the title cut off the new album. I just showed some people in the Fiddle Bow my video. I did a video this February of a song I'll do later on, and in it, they made me dance, wearing Timberland boots. And I realized as I watched it that my dancing style hasn't changed since the 8th grade. But then as I watched myself, I thought, when you got it right, why mess? You'll never get to heaven if you don't stop talking. And it's just a waste of time when there's no one there. It's just a little fever, don't you worry. It'll keep you warm in the cool night air. You'll never get to heaven if that dog keeps howling. And it's not at a man or a cat or the moon. Save your breath and just keep walking. The sun will be rising sometime soon. All your friends are down or long gone out of town. You were the only one crazy enough to stay. Except for maybe me and that howling dog makes 3. What you wanna go to heaven for anyway? You'll never get to heaven if you don't stop drinking. It's a little too late to make that list. This time of night, nobody's laughing. And it gets so quiet, you can hear a kiss. All your friends are down or long gone out of town. You were the only one crazy enough to stay. Except for maybe me and that howling dog makes 3. What you wanna go to heaven for anyway? You'll never get to heaven till the season's over. And nothing but the husk and the hull remain. When that fever breaks, you will get colder till you're the same temperature as the rain. It's kind of one of those standard old country and western tunes. I think we got that off a T. Tyler, Texas album, didn't we? She took off her apron and joined him in the booth. This wasn't any time in her life to be held back by the truth. He picked up his napkin, wiped it across his mouth, and she'd have done just about anything that night to get that ride down south. He told her his name, and then she made up one that didn't fit her name tag and never realized what she'd done. He said, it's 2 days to Atlanta if I push it hard each day. She said, I don't have much money. He said, you won't have to pay. But she knew strangers don't do favors, and nothing comes for free. You gotta pay for everything, it's just with different currency. He asked, how soon can you leave? She said, I don't have much to pack. She said, I'll meet you in my Chevrolet, I'm parked around the back. Well, the sidewalk was still glassy from the afternoon's ice storm, and it took her just a second to shed her waitress uniform. She left it on the floor, packed her jewelry and some clothes. Always leave some things behind, no matter where she goes. There was the car, just like he said, shining in the lane. She could see a silhouette behind the wheel, and everything looked alright. There's only so much snow and cold you can take, so many strangers' eyes, till you have to get yourself back home and fill your family full of lies. Well, he wasn't much to look at, but she didn't really care. She was pretty sure his car was good enough to get her all the way down there. She leaned back in the seat, just another bird on the wing. He said, you know this ride's a trade-off. She said, yeah, isn't everything? Let's do Birch's and then close down, and we'll do, oh, okay. Do Birch's. I'll do Birch's. Oh, I don't have to switch guitars for that. Okay. That makes life easy. So how was winter down here this year? Oh, no way. When you guys get a dusting and people panic. 4 feet of snow and I'm still going out. I don't care. Nothing stops us New Englanders, because we're stupid. We don't know enough to stay in. Although just before we came down here, the last snowstorm of the year was in April. It was after Easter. And we got 14 inches dumped on us. And I thought, man, the weather's been great up to now. It's been like warm. I got enough provisions. I ain't shoveling. It'll be gone in 2 days. I ain't shoveling. And I sat there, all my neighbors were shoveling. I just waited about 2 days. There was not a sign of snow. I said, muscles a little stiff? It's great to be down south again. It's because you don't talk the same way. As I said, I was in Austin February, and I got to see a Shakespeare festival there in Austin at UT, and it was striking. Oh, my fair Hippolyta, let me clutch thee to my breast. What's happening? My favorite, though, was Romeo and Juliet, you know. With Romeo, he looks like, you know, kind of like a Larry Darrell and Darrell kind of guy. He's going, oh, it seems she hangs upon the cheek of night as a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. It's got that special ring. It reminded me, though, because like 2 years ago, I was up in Bangor, Maine, and my nieces were in this version of Fiddler on the Roof. Sunrise, sunset. By Jesus. If I were a rich man, my daddle Christ I would. I love it when they change the cadence. This is a song, the idea came to me in Maine. We'll do this and then we'll close out with the Jerry and the Pacemakers medley. They sat at each end of the couch and watched as the fire burned down so quiet on this winter night. Not a house light on for miles around. Then he said, I think I'll fill the stove. It's getting time for bed. She looked up. I think I'll have some wine. How about you, she asked. And he declined. And Warren, she said, maybe just for tonight. Let's fill the stove with birches. Watch as the fire burns bright. How long has it been? I know it's quite a while. Pour yourself half a glass and stay with me a little while. And Warren, he shook his head as if she'd made some kind of joke. Birches on a winter night, no. Fill the stove with oak. Oak will burn as long and hot as a July afternoon. And birch will burn itself out by the rising of the moon. And you hate a cold house, same as me. Am I right or not? All right, that's true, she said. It was just a thought that she said, Warren, you do look tired. Maybe you should go up to bed. I'll take care of the wood tonight. Oak, he told her. Oak, she said. Well, she listened to his footsteps as he climbed up the stairs. Then she pulled a sweater on her, set her wine glass on a chair. She walked down cellar to the wood box. It was as cold as an ice chest. Then climbed back up with 4 logs, each as wide as a wedding dress. And she filled the stove and poured the wine. Then she sat down on the floor and she curled her legs beneath her as the fire sprang to life once more. And it filled the room with its hungry light, and it cracked as it drew air. And the shadows danced a jittery waltz like no one else was there. As she stood up in the heat, and she twirled around the room, and the shadows, they saw nothing but a young girl on her honeymoon. And she knew the time, it would be short. Soon the fire would start to fade. She thought of heat, she thought of time, and she didn't even trade. Thanks. Well, you guys have been great. Thanks for coming out tonight. I know it's not a school night, but it's getting, well, it's not too late. Late enough to, I think your babysitter's found your liquor cabinet yet. Something to think about, talk about on the way home. Did you lock it? No, I didn't lock it. You? No? So like when your bourbon looks awfully kind of light colored. I'll have a Jack Daniels light, please. Anyway, this is, we'll close with this one. This is the single in the video, and I won't dance. Oh, man. Although I will during the next show. But I will be, yes, that's what they say. I'll be back, shamelessly hawking CDs and things like that. And, we got some Greg Brown, some Gorka CDs, some Patty Larkin things that we got real cheap. And I can fake I got their autographs all down, no problem. It's called the Closed Down Mill. There's a blues band on stage playing our song. I should have known back there was something going wrong. You can't get a drink here unless it comes from the waiter, but the waiter's got a dance that calls the alligator. I try to love you, but you won't stand still. I can't get no grinding at a closed down mill. I wanna take you out cruising, wanna sing to you swoon, but my car and my guitar are both out of tune. If they torch this bar and a couple other joints, they raise the IQ in this town for 27 points. I need to love you, but you won't stand still. I can't get no grinding at a closed down mill. But take a look at the waiter, his body's all bent. He ain't drawn a sober breath since Jimmy Carter was the president. He's talking to some girls into a double twist. How do we always end up in a bar like this? I got to love you, but you won't stand still. I can't get no grinding at a closed down mill. Emotion must be going around. Now the summer has come to that out beach town. Let's get out in the sun, eating ice cream cone. I won't have any fun till I get you alone. I got to love you, but you won't stand still. I can't get no grinding at a closed down mill. So listen, me darling, ain't too proud to beg. Let's drink us a drink, shake us a leg. Tell me you love me, let me hear that sound. Cause I'm sticking with you till you settle down. Was born to love you, but you won't stand still. I can't get no grinding at a closed down mill. Take us on out. Michael Tolles, Danny Mack, David Walters. Thank you very much, everybody.
And Bill Morrissey. Bill Morrissey and the band.
They'll be out in a minute. Somebody had asked earlier before the show for this song. or just mentioned it. It's about getting married for a second time. I'm squeaking here. Which I did get married for a second time a while ago. And of course, the best thing about getting married for a second time is at least you get a decent band at the reception. That's not the best thing about the marriage, but it's the best thing musically. First time around, you're so frazzled, the mothers see that, and your future wonderful mother-in-law, who is part shark, suddenly goes and takes over and goes, Bill, how's this Joey Pisbilski and his polka cat sound? Fine. But second time, it's a smaller affair because you're paying for it and more control. We'll invite our families, some of our friends, and maybe they'll even throw rice. And we'll have us a party, then get out of town and not listen to any advice. We both feel so new, and this time we know we'll never have any regrets. And we'll hire us a band that won't play Proud Mary, no matter how late it gets. Yes, we'll hire us a band this time around that plays nothing but our request. Just me in my suit while I waltz you around, and you in your off-white dress. We both were married, we both were young, we both have made our mistakes. We know how it feels, both when love is real and when a heart truly breaks. So take care of the food, I'll find us a band, and together we'll rent us a house. Maybe you weren't my first, the way I wasn't yours, but the last love is the sweetest of all. Yes, we'll hire us a band this time around that plays nothing but our requests. Just me in my suit while I waltz you around, and you in your off-white dress. Welcome back to the band. It's kind of a country klezmer Celtic fusion tune. Thanks again for coming out. We've had a great time. You all set, guys? I've been long gone from the stage to the highway to the night. Wait a second, let's get it right. Good help is so hard to find. Take it from here. I've been long gone from the stage to the highway to the night grill, and everywhere I went, time just stood still. And in every town that I went down the same, I've been long gone. And every dream was a dream that you'd still want me. And your brown eyes would just haunt me. And every time I called out your name. And I've been long gone, set loose again to chase another payday, knowing if I could just hold you, I'd be okay. Tell me you still love me one more time. There was nothing on the highway, there was nothing but the wind, and I couldn't look ahead, I could just see where I've been. Hartford down to Tampa, Duluth to Malibu, I ran every trick or told any lie just to get on home to you. I've been long gone, now I'm standing in the doorway of your front hall. Ain't this better than a letter or a phone call? Tell me you still love me one more time. I've been long gone, I'll pack my bags and throw away the suitcase. Let me know it's true, let me just touch your face. Tell me you still love me one more time. And I've been long gone. Hey, true love always comes as a surprise. Can you see your reflection in my eyes? Tell me you still love me one more time. There was nothing on the highway, there was nothing but the wind, and I couldn't look ahead, I could just see where I've been. From Hartford down to Tampa, Duluth to Malibu, I ran every trick or told any lie just to get on home to you. I've been long gone, and those nights alone were almost too much to bear. Throw your arms around me, and just keep them there. Tell me you still love me one more time. One more time. Thanks a lot, everybody. Thank you very much. See you next time. Thank you.
The Bill Morrissey Band. Well, that's something. I want to thank everybody for coming out to the early show tonight. And some of you might want to stick around and do the later show. Who knows? It's really very good. And we want you to be reminded that we have WFDD radio shows with Fiddle and Bow featured on Saturday nights at 6. That's tomorrow. At Cat TV on the cable in Forsyth County, Channel 6. Tuesdays at 9 o'clock. So check it out. And hope we'll see you next week for Chuck Brodsky. Thanks for coming out.
Max has a small telescope. Max has a paper and a pen. Max, the unpublished poet, is longing for something. It's a summer night. Max takes his telescope outside, lies on his back for hours looking at the sky. Max, I say, you looking at the stars? He says no, at the space between. I'm looking for that star that no one else has ever seen.